There we go. So we can get started. So everybody happy? We made it through Monday. Monday is over. It is Tuesday. We are on the second day. Very happy with the participation we got. I read all your responses, and I want to let you know you are in the right place for the concerns and things you want to learn in this class. We are going to learn about resumes. We're going to learn about how to handle yourself in a professional way to help get you ahead, land you those jobs and those careers that you want, the things to do, and more importantly, the things not to do, things to say, things not to say. Little things that you may not know. If you've been out of the job search thing, things have changed drastically. Things you used to be able to do, you don't do now. There's new tips, tricks, things to do. There's reasons why you're not getting responses. If you are using things like LinkedIn and stuff like that. How many of you are putting things out there online in job search applications and you're getting no responses back whatsoever? Anybody do this? You're applying online and you're getting no responses back. We're going to talk about the reasons why you may not be getting any responses back and what you need to do to help that out. Because there is a reason why you may not be getting anything back. You may not have a chance at being selected ever, and you may not realize it. I know when there was a period where I had not been in the job market for a long time. I've been in South Florida for 20 years and then moved up here, and I was getting nothing, nothing, nothing. And there was a reason for it. And I was blaming them. It was actually me. So there's room to learn in everything. Um, the problem is, how many of us get stuck in our ways? We don't like to change. I don't like to change things. I'd rather blame everybody else than think that I need to change. Yeah, we're like that. We like what we do. We like how we do it, and change is not fun. And so, but we're going to talk about that too. There's nothing necessarily wrong with what we're doing, but there are ways to do things better. So, one thing I want you to think about in this class is for you. Everything is about promoting you. Okay. Now, some people are just absolutely not going to put effort into this class. Number one, your grade's going to show that. Number two, going out, that's the same effort you're going to put into your career. Careers take time, they take effort. Okay. First thing you notice when you see celebrities that have really made it, anybody that's made it big, one of the first things they do is they thank everybody that helped them. Have you noticed that? How many people notice that they thank everybody that helped them along the way? Anybody see this? Every award show, every time somebody gets something, they thank people, right? Anybody who's really struggling, what's the first thing they say? Nobody helped me. Nobody's done this. I've done it all on my own. Okay? Nobody here has done it completely on their own. You've had instructors, you've had teachers, you had somebody along the way. Now, I'll be the first one to say you may not have had the support that you've needed. All right? You may not have had the support you've needed. I will tell you that, and I'm an honest believer that you may not have had the support you needed, but that doesn't mean you did everything on your own. You've had help along the way, even if it wasn't as much or the right kind of help. So don't forget where you've been, okay? Never forget where you've been. Always know where you've been so you know where you're headed because you don't want to go back. And pay attention to the sources where you get information from. Because the person who tells you, oh, you don't need to do that, this is the easy way to do it. The first thing I want to know is if they have all the answers, why are they still in your neighborhood and not getting ahead of themselves? Huh? Why are they still there and they're not getting ahead? Because if they have all the answers, wouldn't they be out living the high life themselves? So pay close attention to the source of the information you're getting everything from. Okay? Because there's a lot of bad advice out there. And if everybody had the easy way to do things, we would all be there. Things take work. And if you're not going to put in the work, you're going to get the results you get. It does take a little bit of work. Now, there are better ways to do the work. Some things are going to go, you're going to go, I'm not doing that. Well, there's a reason why we're going to have you do the things that we have you do, because if you do it once, then you can apply it multiple times. Think smart, not harder. Okay? Think smart. Don't work harder. So I need you to keep an open mind. There's a reason why I'm going to have you do the things that you do. And I'm going to roll up in about the midterm, which is next week. Can you believe that? Midterm next week? But don't panic about that. To show you why we put things together. Okay. Don't worry, Matthew. I've got a midterm study guide that has all the answers on it. And so many people will not open that midterm study guide. And they're like, I had to Google the answers. And I'm like, good for you. You wasted your time because you would not listen to me. You don't have to listen to me. You don't have to pay attention to the stuff I email, text, and all that. Fine, work harder. I don't care if you want to do it that way, but pay attention. I'm here for a reason. I helped design this course, so I know where the answers are. All right? Everybody like me giving you the answers? Because I'm going to. Nobody wants me to give you the answers? I don't have to. I can make you look for them. All right.
I'll
Here we
take the
go.
answer. I'll take the answer.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, hey, I'm going to give them to you, or I could not give them to you. I can just say, here's a 400 question midterm. Trust me, I've had instructors do that. Hated them. All right. So here we go. I'm going to start off with screen share. And again, if you have questions, let me know. No harm in asking. As a matter of fact, I'd rather you ask than sit there not knowing. Because not knowing is one of the worst things in the world is, thinking everybody else knows everything and you don't. That's what's called imposter syndrome, where you feel like you don't know and everybody else knows. And that is a real thing. All right, so here's your main screen. I'm always going to come back to this main screen because this is where you should be working. All right, so if you miss a class or you want to review it from yesterday, go here to the past recording. It's always there. If you can't find the text and emails that I send you with the links, it's right there. All right, so we are in week 1. Yesterday, you did the live conference. Most of you did the discussion. I'm going to be going through grading it. You'll have a grade in there if you did your original post and you replied to somebody else. So after today, if you don't have a grade in there, chances are you didn't reply on anybody else because you're not finished. You need to make your original response and reply to somebody else. Don't forget 2 responses, your original and the reply. That makes a total of 2. Everybody got that? Otherwise, 60%, you're throwing away 40% of your grade. All right, so we're in Tuesday. Now, how many people like ourselves? We like our personalities. Anybody out there like yourself?
Yes.
Yeah, we should like ourselves. I should be seeing emojis all over the place. Or I'm going to start calling people out by name and seeing if they respond. So I know if you're really there or if you're out walking around ignoring me. All right. Yeah, we like ourselves. Otherwise, why are you taking so many selfies? Come on, you're not that pretty. You're flooding the airwaves with those pictures of you, thinking you're all supermodel and everything. Don't be thinking you're that pretty. Nope, you're not on magazine covers, folks. All right, so here we go. Personality test. This is becoming such an integral part of the hiring process. You may or may, has anybody had to take one for a job yet? Last class, several people have already had to take these. Some people have here. All right. So this is becoming a big thing because a lot of these careers, especially you welders, you electricians, etc., You're going to have to work in teams. You're going to have to go around possibly in a work van with each other. They want to make sure you guys are going to be buddy buddies and work together. So they're going to make you take a personality test. The reason why they want to make sure that you're not going to fight like brothers and sisters inside that van when you get out there. Yeah. So you're going to take a personality test. Now, when you take this personality test, you're going to be finding out what you were, what they said you were, and if you saw it was accurate. You're going to need to reply both of these. Okay. So you're going to click here where it says click me, and you're going to click on take the test. Now, you're going to be presented with these questions. You regularly make new friends. You can either agree or slide anywhere along here, all the way down to disagree. Okay? So you're going to click on it and go to the next question. And you're going to keep doing this all the way through until you go to the next page and keep going until you get all the way to the end. And at the very end, it's going to give you a reply as to your personality type here. I'll show you what it is. Not sure quite how this is going to score. And this is the type of personality. So you're going to tell me that you got the entertainer, this is the personality type, and then it's going to tell you what those types are. Okay? And you're going to read this and you're going to tell me why you think this fits you or doesn't fit you. Okay? Now, surprisingly, these tend to be pretty accurate. This is called a Myers-Briggs personality test. And these are the type of tests that employers are using to determine where they may place you on different teams. Now, if you get one with a strong personality or a weak personality, that's not important. The important thing is how accurate is it? Because when they put together teams, they want people with strong and weaker personality types so that they work well together. So does everybody understand what you're doing with this assignment? So once you have that information, you're going to click Start Assignment, Text Entry, type in your information in the box and say Submit Assignment. That's how you do that assignment. It's pretty interesting. The majority of the people come back that this was accurate. Now the next one, this is part one of 3 parts to this assignment. You're going to do the first part in week 1, the second part in week 3, and the final plan is going to be your final project in week 4. The more you do for week 1, the easier week 3 will be, and even easier in week 4. So we're going to talk about planning. Now, I'll always get the person who says, I don't like to plan. I just fly by the seat of my pants and blah, blah, blah. That's great, but not when it comes to your career. Everybody has a goal. How many people have a goal that they either want to start their own business or they want to be in a certain position, etc.? You know where you want to be. Even if you don't want to say it out loud, you know where you want to be. You knew because you came to Southern Tech. Even if this isn't your final career. And that's a good thing too. I want to talk about that for a sec. The majority of the people are going to have at least 4 major career changes in their entire career. Now, that doesn't mean if you're in welding, you're going to completely get out of welding, but you might become a welding supervisor or a welding inspector, but you're going to have 4 major career changes. This is why you have those general ed classes to help you along the way as well. So kind of think about where you want to go in your career. So think about those long-term goals. What career do you want? What types of education do you need to have? Do you need more than what you've got here? What steps or skills do you need? What other information? So there's a video to help you, and you can click that and watch that. But this is what I want you to do today. I need 2 long-term goals, minimum. You can have more. The more goals you have, the better. So I want you to think of 2 long-term goals. Now, they don't just have to be career related. Some people put on there, I'd like to own my own home. I'd like to start a business. I want to be able to have a decent financial cushion. I want to move out of state. These are long-term goals because in week 3, we're going to add short-term goals that are going to get you to that long-term goal. Okay? Does everybody understand what we're doing today? We're going to list long-term goals that you're going to eventually do that. Now, I know this sounds backwards, but that's what you do. You start off with where you want to get, and then we're going to add the information to get there. So how you do that is you're going to go up here, you're going to click Start Assignment, Text Entry, and you're going to just list those long-term goals, okay? Now, keep a copy of that because you're going to need it for week 3, okay? That's when you're going to add those short-term goals, okay? And that's going to take you through today. So you should have those assignments done today. That will keep you on track. Now, if something happens and you don't get it today, you have until Sunday before it closes. But you don't want these assignments to pile up, okay? Now, coming up here tomorrow, we have this here. I want to give you all a heads up on this. This is a resume session with career services. You're going to need to schedule an appointment to go see somebody in career services. This is physically on campus and you need to go meet with them and they are going to go over your resume if you already have one. If you don't have one, they are going to help you create one. Now, everybody wants to have a great resume. This is where you're going to get this. They are going to sit with you one-on-one and make sure you have a great resume. How many people want that great resume? This is where you're going to get it, okay? So find your campus and it tells you how to do it. Brandon, this is how you do it, Sanford, etc. You set this up with career services. I do not have any take on this, okay? Once you have your date and time for your appointment, what you're going to do, I need to change this date, obviously 10/10. It will be next Thursday is when you need to have your resume back. They will sign your resume, okay? By next Thursday, I will need your signed resume. So once you have your appointment set up, click Start, come in here, tell me the date and time of your appointment with career services. Okay, now I will always have somebody that cannot physically go to the campus for whatever reason or anything. You need to arrange that with your campus career services. Let them know what's going on so they are aware of it. Let them work with you. Okay? Everybody aware of that? You need to contact career services. I'm giving you the heads up today because there are 6 classes that are going through this and everybody is going to be fighting for these appointments. Okay? And they're all going to start fighting for them tomorrow. I'm giving you a heads up today because I want you to be able to get in there and start getting those appointments early. Everybody got that? Yes, yes. Everybody understand? So you can get into this assignment, find out how to set that up, and hopefully snag the better appointments before everybody gets in there. Okay? And that is under Thursdays or Wednesdays, I'm sorry. All right? Okay. So everybody good? Everybody good so far? So let's talk about what we need to talk about today. so we can get to getting, because the sooner we get to getting, the sooner you guys get to get out of here. And we all like that, right? Everybody likes to get out as soon as we can. And I appreciate everybody that I've reached out to or you've reached out to me through email and text, responding back. Always, if you're communicating back and forth with me, always make sure you respond back. I appreciate that. And I appreciate the honesty that you guys are responding back with. Much, much appreciated. All right. So we're talking about career preparation. There is an art to it, and we're going to talk about it and why we do a career plan, self assessment, types of personal skills, and SMART goals, career pathing, and a career portfolio. Sounds like a lot, but this is going to go quick. So, everybody's career preparation is different. There's not one way. Can't be. We are all different. And there's a difference between a job and a career. Jobs are what we typically have. You go to work, you do your thing, you come home, somebody else takes over. Careers, those are a little bit longer. They require more training, and it is not just short-term employment, okay? You're going to be able to advance, you're going to be able to grow, and it's going to change as you're in there. You're going to get experience. Now, one thing I want you to think of is you may not stay in the same place of employment throughout your career because as you go, you're going to have the opportunity to learn things. And here's a hint. When I give you hints, this is things to think about. How many people have been on the job and they come up and they say, I need a couple of people to learn this or learn that, blah, blah, blah. And the first thing somebody goes is, am I going to get paid more? How many people hear this? The very first thing people say, am I going to get paid more? Don't be that person. Okay? Don't be that person. Because I can tell you from an employer, my response is, you're not going to be trained. You won't get paid more. I want somebody who's going to learn because you know what? Chances are, yes, you're going to get paid more. But if that's all you're worried about, paid more, paid more, paid more, you're not the kind of person I want to train. If you learn, the money will follow. Because if I learn and then you don't pay me more, I'm going to take the knowledge you gave me and I'm going somewhere else. One way or the other, I'm going to get the money. Do you see that? I am in control of my money. I want y'all to know this. You are the one in control. The employer is not the one in control. You are. Does everybody understand? You are now the one in control. In a career, you are in control. I need y'all to recognize this. This is the difference in a job and a career. In your career, you are in control. You are not taking it from a boss. Got it? So whenever you're offered education, take it because that's going to give you skills. Skills give you money. Always take the education. And then if that employer doesn't give you the money, you add those skills to your resume and you go job hunting. And when you get that next job with that higher pay, you drop your current employer. Okay? You don't need them anymore. They were a step on your ladder to success. Has everybody got that? Everybody understand this? You don't have to be loyal to them. You're not dating them. They're not your wife. They're not your bestie. It is a business contract. How many people want their own business? How many people would love to be their own boss? Here's another hint. You are your own boss. You are your own company. You are in the business for yourself. Okay? You are there to make money for you. Everyone says businesses are out to make money. Yes, that's what a business is. If they're not there to make money, I call them out of business. No business is there to be a friend, period. Businesses can do good things for people, but their bottom line is their bottom line. Every business is in business to make money. You are in business for you to make money for you. You're not going there to hold that company's hand. You're not there to tell them they're pretty. Everybody got that? Now, this sounds very cold, but it is. Business is cold because business is there for one reason, to make money, either for you or for them. Does everybody understand that? You will love your job, you will love your career, but you're going there for a purpose, and it's an exchange and it's a business contract. All right? So, when given a chance to get extra education, don't ask, am I going to get paid more? Say, I want to learn, because you're investing in yourself. So, career pathways. These are categories for very specific skills and competencies. And there's only 16 of these. Everything's broken down. Okay. And then there's what we call emerging occupations. Now, these are new, or ones that have developed or changed because of technological advancements. And we're going to talk about some of those because they may not be what you think. But this here, right here, pay attention to these places because they may not be what you think they are. Occupational Informational or Information Network, ONET. Okay. ONET's very important. Okay. And what that does is that's going to give you descriptions of in-demand industry areas in emerging occupations. So these are places that are in demand. So if you go there, it's going to tell you what the most in-demand occupations are. Okay. Now, how many people have heard of the Department of Labor? Everybody heard of that? You may have heard of it, but do you know what they will do for you? It'll give you job information, hourly standards. Okay, this is important. Hourly standards for your job, wage information. How many people know what you should be making in your position when you graduate? How many people? Do you know what you should be making in your position? Not that many people responded. So that means when I interview you, I'm going to try to pay you the least amount I can pay you, and you won't know better. Because remember, when you go out there to get that job, it's negotiable. So I'm going to try to lowball you as much as possible. And if you don't know better, you're going to take it. Remember, there can be $5, $10, $15 an hour difference between you and the person next to you, what you're making an hour. And you can't be upset if you didn't negotiate a good price. It's not one price fits all in a career. So a career plan, this is a document. You start phase one with that long term today. So it's where a person is today in their job search process and where they want to be. Okay. And those things that you are putting down, these are called action items because you're going to be doing something. And the very first thing that you need to know is it doable? So you're going to do a self-assessment, a skills assessment, and we're going to set SMART goals. Okay. And you're like, well, why do I need to do a self-assessment? Because we need to know where you are. How can you go forward if you don't know where you are? So this is what your plan's going to look like. We're going to have a long-term goal, short-term goals, some SMART goals. Which the difference between a SMART goal and a short-term goal is it's got timelines in there. Okay. That's what your plan's going to look like. So we're going to do the self-assessment. So what we need to know is, what do you have going for you? What abilities, your personalities, your values? Remember, we're doing a personality test. Now you see how this is starting to fall into play? So we need to find out about you. Now, aptitudes. Okay, this isn't attitude. These are aptitudes. Cognitive. A cognitive attitude. Think of those gears and you're going around in your brain like a little cog. That's your mental aptitude. An aptitude is natural ability. Okay, you can't change an aptitude. It's something you're born with. You either have a mental aptitude or a physical aptitude. Okay, so they could give you an aptitude test. This is not uncommon. Sometimes they're like a math test or things like that. And what they're doing is they are checking to see what natural abilities you have. They could do a physical test as well. What can you lift? What can you do? This is not uncommon for them to do this when you go and you take an or go for an interview or fill out an application. Anybody have to do a math test or reading test or anything like that? Those are formal aptitude placement tests. They want to make sure you can do the basics. Now, your ability is the capacity. Okay, so you are limited by your capacity. Okay, you can lift things, but the maximum you can lift, that is your ability. You can do math, but how far you can go in math, that is your ability. So ability is the limit. Now, we hear the word personality, but what is a personality? Your personality is your blend, work habits, dependability, loyalty, and natural motivation. That is your personality. And your personality does not necessarily change. People's perception of your personality changes. And it is assessed through a Myers-Briggs type indicator. That's the test you're taking. And this is what people do to evaluate that. Now, how many people say, oh, that's somebody's values? These are my values. We use this term all the time. How many people have used the term values? Anybody ever use that? We talk about people's values. Values are actually your principles and beliefs that you consider important. And these are very, very important because a company's values may be different than yours. And so you need to be careful where you go to work, because if a company's values run different than yours, you may not belong in that company. So we research them. Now, there's two types of skills, soft skills and hard skills. Hard skills are what you're learning in the actual labs and shops there at school, okay? What you do that is unique to your job, okay? Unique to your career. The physical aspects of it, the actual weld, the actual wiring, the actual drawing of the blood, that's a hard skill. Your soft skill, that's your people skills. That's your reading, that's your reasoning. Those are soft skills. Everyone I talk to that is hiring or looking for workers, you've got the hard skills. The hard skills, you have those down. Those soft skills, work on those, how you communicate with people. So we do skills assessments to see what type of skills you need. So some of the soft skills are listed here: active listening, effective communication, being flexible, integrity, motivation, patience, teamwork, time management. These are things that should be on your resume if you have them, and we typically forget to put them on there. Those are legitimate skills. If you have them, list them separately. We tend to put them general descriptions. Works well with machines. What machines? Look under hard skills. List them separately. Manufacturing, marketing, nursing, project managing, welding, writing. Under welding, put if it's TIG welding, MIG welding, list them separately. Be very specific. Don't be so general. We need to know exactly what you're talking about. Okay. Now, this is something that people tend to get wrong on the midterm when asked about a technology skills assessment. Okay. I know when people Google this, because they'll put technology skills assessment and they will check that this is an assessment to see what type of computer system a company needs. No, this class is about you. So a technology skills assessment, they want to know what you can use. Can you use Photoshop, Google Docs, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever? It's a skills assessment to find out what technology you use. And companies will ask you what can you use? So earlier I mentioned goals, SMART goals. SMART goals irritate me because I always get the thing wrong here. So if you get things wrong, hey, we're human. But the difference really with a SMART goal is between that and a regular short-term goal is the fact that you're actually measuring here, okay? You need to make sure it's measurable, and we typically do this with time, okay? Everything else is a regular goal. Your goals are specific. You know you can attain it. You know it's realistic. But the big thing is with a SMART goal, when are you going to do it? When you add a time frame in, that's what really makes it a SMART goal. And we saw this earlier, and it repeats here. Okay. Now, how many people have heard climbing the corporate ladder? Everybody's heard this? Yeah. You're going to move up the rungs in the ladder. Okay. Now, that used to be true. And here we go. This is it. You're going to go zoom right up this ladder. This is how you start off. Okay. And, entry level, this is, of course, you have no experience. This one, the career, you have some experience, some skills. Specialist level, now you've been there for at least a few years. Supervisory level, you've got a lot of experience, you're used to working with people, etc. Executive level, you've got all that, plus you know how to organize and manage a company, etc. Okay, but now there's a new way, and this is called the lattice. Because how many have worked in a company and they said, we can't pay you anymore because you've topped out for your position? Yeah, that's a cop out. They can pay more. Look at CEO salary. They're lying to us. They can pay more. They don't want to. There's more money. So this is what's called a lattice work. Notice you can move left and right and up. So if this manager is topped out here, they have the ability to slide over to this position and possibly go up here if they want to go. So you can move over into another department. If this specialist does not want to be under this person, they can move over. So you have the ability to move into another department and move up. You are not stuck. So this is called a lattice work. It gives you more opportunity to move around. So you can move up but you can also move horizontally. This is much better, and more companies are going with this, so you are not necessarily stuck. You can stay in the same company and go into a different area if you are no longer happy. Okay, portfolios basically contains your resume, all your references, everything, etc. You can either carry it around in a hard copy, which is in a binder. Never use a 3-ring binder where it's got the holes, etc. When I say a binder, I mean like a folder type where everything is set in. Use a paper clip to hold things together. Never staple. We don't staple anything together. We don't tape anything together. You use a paper clip to hold things nice and neat. Whenever you go to do an interview, always make sure you have multiple copies of everything in case it's a group interview when you get there and there's 3 or 4 people interviewing you at the same time. You always want to make sure you have multiple copies. In your digital form, make sure that you have run spell checkers, etc., everything on them, and you are using the proper format when you send. That means if you're sending something out to somebody, you are sending it in a PDF format. The reason why we send a PDF format is because it retains its format and it keeps people from changing it. And you may ask why, because the person who receives that email may not be the person that it's eventually going to be printed out and given to. And sometimes it has happened where the person who receives it has somebody they would prefer to get the position. And if you send a doc or a Google Doc, meaning Word doc or any other form that's editable, they might change your resume so that you do not get the position. So always send it in a PDF format. Now, your portfolio is going to describe you. That's why that resume is so important. Don't just have somebody create a resume for you that you don't have a participation in it because it's going to describe you. It's going to be you. And it's going to be your skills, your knowledge, and your characteristics that are going to come through. Your resume is not one and done. It's what we call a living document. And that's because it's going to change over time. And you are going to change it for each place you are trying to get hired on. Now, today, I want you to think about you, your hard skills, and your soft skills. So, your hard skills are your physical skills that you currently have to do your career. Your top 3 soft skills, these are like your people skills, your conflict resolution skills, things like that. Yours, not just the ones for your career, but the ones you possess. So I don't want you to just Google out there and see what your career should have. I want to know the ones that you have. Okay? So that's going to be your daily today. So that's the one for your participation. And I run out of screen there. All right. So that's what I want you to do for your daily participation, your top 3 hard skills and your top 3 soft skills. And I should say your, not you. All right. And that's how we start with our career. Are there any questions? We're all good? Yes, yes. Devontae's good. All right. All right. So if that is everything, then get that in by 10 p.m. tonight. Try to get that resume session scheduled so you guys have the best time slots. If you need anything, please email and text me and let me know what y'all need. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow, and we will be most of the way through the first week tomorrow. at 10 a.m. See you then.